When Australia's 4,000 city schools close for the day, or the week, or the year, what becomes of their 700,000 pupils? There could be almost as many answers to this as there are school children. But even so, those answers take some finding, and so do the youngsters themselves. The first trail leads to an old part of one of the big cities. There are signs and portents on the ground. There is writing on the wall. Higher still, a reminder that when irresistible force meets a movable object, something has to go, while the going's good. There's two-way traffic on this speedway, any side you like. Skipping doesn't even slow the party down, or the skippers for that matter. One little world of make-believe is brushed aside, but dreams of glory on makeshift playing fields are harder to shake, even when the football, like the players, is rather on the small side. One critic feels the game lacks action, which only shows how wrong critics can sometimes be. Few big cities have playing space enough for all the children, so they make their own. And if the street's on a slope, you move the faster. The street can be a playground or a battlefield for the age-old struggle between the goodies and the baddies. Which is which, nobody seems to know. Not so many years ago, wooden sword and kerosene tin armor were the fashion. Nowadays, it's the cowboy suit and the six-shooter which open the door to adventure. We're ambushed. Make for that rock. Let 'em have it. Come out in the open like a man. Jammed again. Whoa there, Silver! It's all in fun, but on the streets it can be dangerous fun for even the sharpest youngster, as any hospital will tell you. And it is under conditions like these, too, that the antisocial gang can spring up. They're not quite up to your weight yet, champ. Maybe next time. To meet the challenge of the streets, city playgrounds are being extended under a nationwide fitness plan to keep more and more youngsters away from unnecessary risks. And the games they play develop team spirit as well as muscle. Even the smallest teams usually include a dog. At half-time, milk flows freely. City baths are crowded throughout the long Australian summers, and learning to swim well is an essential part of the general high spirits. Sound training does nothing to lessen the fun or the keenness. Classes for the deaf, the dumb, and the blind have for many years been the special care and pride of stout-hearted volunteers who have given many of these young people the freedom of the water. Though they are skilled in lip reading, fingers are still used sometimes to help one another with the lessons. But once in the water, disabilities are forgotten in the sheer joy of the moment. Some of the more advanced juniors are training for the championships. A great pioneer movement, the Far West Homes, brings hundreds of children from the distant inland to the sea. It's their first sight, too, of a big city. And this is what they think of it.
Hello, kids. How are you?
Hey.
Where do you come from?
Morrie.
Oh, where's that? Far away?
Oh, the other side of Narrabri.
Mm-hmm. How do you like the big city, seeing it for the first time, eh?
Pretty good sort of place. And...
Is it like it is way back where you come from?
Oh, no.
How do you mean? How is it different?
Oh, well, here, you see, when you want to go anywhere, you
Yes?
have to get all dressed up. Well, up home, that's more rude. Well, you just have to put a shirt on, a pair of shorts, and wash your feet and go wherever you want to.
I see. Once you wash your feet, you're off, eh?
Yes.
Where did you get those freckles from?
Oh, from Baronga. That's miles away from here.
Oh, well, you're a long way from home today, aren't
Yes.
you? Would you rather live up there at Baronga or down here in Sydney?
Baronga.
Why do you say that?
Oh, it's too noisy up here.
Well, would any of you like to invite me up to your house in the country sometime?
Yay!
I'll remember that. Well, goodbye, kids. See you again.
Another way of meeting the challenge of the streets is the simple one of making other places more attractive. The Police and Citizens Boys Clubs have organized some 30 centers in one Australian state alone, and it's no small problem to cope with the rush of recruits for the few vacancies that occur, even in clubs like this with 2,000 members. The gymnasiums have everything a star athlete could wish for, but they cater deliberately for the typical youngster. Fine equipment and training build strong and active bodies, and the confidence that a lad needs to face the world. Classes are varied. Instruction and first aid given by ambulance men will fit them to handle some of the emergencies that occur, particularly in an industrial city. If these weightlifters increase their poundage any further, they'll be needing first aid themselves. Once, if you'd asked them to lift a scuttle full of coal, they might have said it would strain their backs. But now, keen, fit, confident, they're ready to tackle anything, anywhere. In still other parts of the club, natural talent is given a chance to develop.
Faces, you're a little too light in the trio. Right now, boys, we'll start in the same place.
While these clubs are planned to make good citizens and good sportsmen of the average lad, they have also helped to develop champions of world standing, such as Jimmy Carruthers. The sea has its volunteers no less than the land, and the Sea Cadet Corps keeps very much alive the blue water traditions that Australia has inherited. A number of these boys spring from naval stock, but whether they become sailors or not, the training and discipline of the service equip them for manhood. One of the oldest forms of communication over distances, the flag is still used as it was in Nelson's day. Though he might not have turned his blind eye on this. The method of recovering it is just the same too. A latter-day monkey boy without powder. Too young to serve their country yet, they're keen to learn. And what they learn will be of value in the more specialized service training that may come later. knot has an essentially Australian twist to it. Other lads pick up their seamanship, their knowledge of wind and water, as juniors in the sailing clubs scattered along the coasts. It was in this club that the Vaucluse Juniors, known in many parts of the world as the Little VJs, originated. Safe to handle and cheap to build, they offer all the thrill of racing to young and eager crews. These are the yachtsmen of tomorrow, though today's fun will be hard to beat. No wonder their little boats are known as the unsinkable babies. That seems to apply to the crews as well. So far, it has seemed very much a boys' world, but just as much care is given to developing the energy and lively interest of girls. National fitness camps bring them close to nature in a country of unique animals, birds, and flowers. One of the strangest of plants is the banksia. Many flowers grow on its conical and comical head. Now it's the players' turn. Amateur theatricals bring out unexpected talent. The boys have no monopoly on bloodthirsty melodrama. A song rounds off the show. Fitness camps are open to boys as well, and one of these is near this natural tessellated pavement, once an Aboriginal initiation ground and still a geological puzzle. Around it lie Stone Age carvings, relics of the dark-skinned tribes, some of whom still live their nomad life far from the cities. The coastal Aborigines who drew these lived on fish. Here, the story of a tribal ancestor was danced in corroboree, and close by is a reminder that rock wallaby was a great delicacy. Not far away, the Pacific sweeps across a city beach, but even the challenge of its surf is not enough for some of the more adventurous youngsters. Equipped with sea goggles and snorkels for underwater breathing, they look rather like characters from a modern sequel to one of Jules Verne's fantasies. These frog feet are built for speed. Under the water, of course. Here's a scene that might well be called 20,000 Legs Under the Sea. Hey, there's a penalty for throwing sand on a public beach, and there's a penalty for interfering with life-saving gear, too. That gear could save your life. Come over with me and see for yourselves. These lifesavers come from all walks of life. They give their services voluntarily and in return are given the training that will equip them to save life in the water. That was great. But we're too young. You can't start being a lifesaver until you're 16. Well, there's an answer to that. A nothing over 12 team for training purposes only. They're on their mettle. Stand by for action. Keep your eye on the belt man and those elbows well back. Hold the patient firmly but gently and keep him well up on those chests. The new method of resuscitation. Arms straight, a steady rhythm. It hasn't taken them long to learn that speed is essential. All they need to do now is to grow up. Perhaps the most widely spread of all volunteer movements is the Boy Scouts. The Pan-Pacific Jamboree brings together young representatives from 14 different nations. A never-to-be-forgotten experience. Spectacular highlight after months of training. Differences in language, color, and creed are forgotten in this gathering of 11,000 boys who have drawn new inspiration from their meeting. But now, the holidays are over, and it's back to school again, bubbling over with all that they have seen and done. There are friendships to be renewed, vacation experiences to be relived and retold. Some will dream for weeks of the delights that were, for each a different paradise, the tingling of champagne surf, of six-shooters roaring in happy make-believe, the joys of camp life with a host of friends, the thrills of sporting contests that help to make a boy a man, and of all that happens when school's out.